So, first things first, the only new character in this chapter we discussed is the troll. And let's see, when they meet the troll, let's see. It was a horrible sight. 12 feet tall, its skin was a dull granite gray, its great lumpy body like a boulder, with its small bald head perched on top like a coconut. It had short legs, thick as tree trunks, with flat, horny feet. The smell coming from it was incredible. It was holding a huge wooden club, which dragged along the floor because its arms were so long. That's the only new character in this chapter. All right. So this is chapter 10. The title is Halloween. And the funny part about that is that the only thing related to Halloween in this chapter is that what happens on Halloween, because it just happens to be Halloween that day. Okay. Also, some significance. Halloween is a significant date. Why is Halloween a significant date, Erica?
Halloween? Something happened on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Something important happened on Halloween. That was like the attack. Harry's parents, unfortunately, passed away on Halloween. That was
1981.
That was the attack on the Potter family.
And that is the significance of Halloween in the Harry Potter world. It's a big friggin' deal. It was the day that the Wizarding War ended because he who must not be named went away after. So, yeah. Okay. So, let's see. How does this one start? Okay. So, they're at breakfast and Harry gets a package. And the note on the package says, hey, don't open the package at the table. And they go, and Ron and Harry go and start running up the stairs to go to the dormitory. But, Draco blocks them on the stairs and snatches the package and is like, that's a broomstick. You're in trouble now. First years can't have broomsticks. Can I just side note? This is the second time Draco's entitled behind has walked up and snatched something that does not belong to him out of the owner's hand, because he did the same thing with Neville's Remembrall. He didn't grab it off the table. He snatched it directly out of his hand. Draco's a douche. Okay, moving on. So they stop on the stairs and Draco's talking crap because, and then Ron, being the friend that he is, jumps in and he's like, yeah, well, it's a Nimbus 2000. What did you say you had at home, you little piece of junk? And then, of course, Draco being Draco, he's like, whatever, your family can't even afford brooms. You probably got to buy them twig by twig. And then Professor Flitwick comes running out and he's like, boys, you're not arguing, are you? And Draco's like, Professor Flitwick, Harry has a broom. And Professor Flitwick's like, oh, yes. Professor McGonagall told me about the special circumstances. Yeah. Hey, Harry, what kind of broom is it? And Harry's like, oh, it's a Nimbus 2000, Professor, trying not to laugh because Draco's over here, horror on his face, like, wait a minute, what the heck? Anywho, and then, of course, Hermione. And then Hermione comes by and she makes some snarky comment. And Ron's like, I thought you weren't talking to us. Don't stop now. It was working out good for us. Anyway, so they go throughout their day and then he goes and checks out his broom and he gets to go down that evening and have his first practice with Oliver Wood. And this is where we learn about the game of Quidditch. So, having never heard about the game before, Oliver has to explain to Harry what the game is and what his position is going to be. And so he brings out this trunk, and in the trunk, there are 4 balls. He pulls out the red ball the size of about the size of a soccer ball, and he tells Harry, this is the quaffle. He's like, every team has 3 chasers. The 3 chasers play with this ball and try to get them to those goals at the end of the field. Now, the goals at the end of the field, for you muggles out there, The goals look like the stick that little kids use to blow bubbles with, like straight with the little loop on top. Or, let's make it a little more updated for the kids that are out there nowadays. It looks like a, what's it called? The light, a ring light. It looks like a ring light, right? But it's 50 feet tall. And so the chasers try to get the ball into the hole. You get 10 points every time you get it in there. Each team has a keeper. The keeper is guarding the posts. And Harry's like, all right. And so Wood's like, you got that? And Harry's like, yeah, kind of like basketball, except on broomsticks, right? And Wood's like, what's basketball? Harry's like, yeah, never mind. Got it. So Harry's like, yeah, never mind. Okay, so the chasers try to get the balls through the goals. The keeper guards the goal. Got it. So then why all the rest of the balls and players? And then Wood's like, all right. So he puts the quaffle away and he pulls out one of the bludgers, which is a jet black ball, a little smaller than the quaffle. And he's like, all right, this is a bludger. And he hands Harry a bat and he goes, this is a beater's bat. Watch this. And he lets, hey, a little tiny beater's bat. And he lets the ball go. Ah, bludger! And then the ball like pelts up and then comes directly for Harry's face. And so Harry uses the beater bat to swat it away. And then when it comes back, it comes for Oliver Wood, and he jumps on top of it and puts it back in the trunk. And he's like, all right, so that's a bludger. Our beaters have beaters bats. There's 2 beaters per team. The beaters try to keep the bludgers away from our players and put them toward the other players. And Harry's like, have the bludgers ever killed anybody before? And Wood's like, not at Hogwarts. And he's like, plus, our beaters are Fred and George Weasley, and they're like a pair of human bludgers themselves. They're pretty good at being beaters. Okay. Yeah. So then he's like, all right, so now the Seeker. He's like, the Seeker doesn't worry about the quaffle, the bludgers, or anything else. The Seeker catches this little teeny tiny gold ball with little wings on it. This is called the Golden Snitch. He's like, so. He goes, this is the most important thing because the game doesn't end until one of the Seekers catches the snitch, and you need to be dodging in and out of all the gameplay trying to catch the snitch before the other team's Seeker catches the snitch. And whoever's team catches the snitch gets an extra 150 points. So most of the time they win the game. And Harry's like, all right, got it. So now he's up on all the rules. And then Wood's like, all right, come on. I don't want to use the Golden Snitch because I don't want to lose it, but we're going to practice. And so they go up in the air with a box of golf balls, and Wood's throwing golf balls every which way. And Harry catches every single one of them until it gets dark. And Wood's like super excited because, woohoo, Harry's really good at it and all this stuff. Okay, boom, done. Great. Harry's ready for Quidditch now. Okay. So then the next day they get up. It's Halloween.
But remember what he told him about the longest game?
Oh, yeah. And then he was, because the game doesn't end until the Seeker catches the snitch. So the longest game on record is 3 months, and they had to keep sending substitutes in so that the players could get some sleep. So,
right now, I thought it would be the perfect time, I'm sorry, to show you very quickly one thing. Japan right now has the little, this is the set. It's a little so like cute. A little charge box. Yeah.
It's about the size of my Newt Scamander suitcase.
Yeah. And the set of Nimbus 2000.
Yay.
That Harry got, and it actually says Nimbus 2000 on the
broom handle.
Yeah, on the broom handle, just like it would. Then you've got the Nimbus 2001, which we will learn about later. It's actually black. And then you also have the Firebolt,
which you'll learn about later.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're in Japan, go to the little gachas and you can maybe try to find them.
Okay, so they get up the next morning. It's Halloween. They smell pumpkin baking down in the kitchen, whatever. They go through their day. They go to Charms class, Flitwick's class, and they're going to work in pairs to finally learn how to make things fly. And they're super excited because they've been waiting for this ever since they saw Professor Flitwick make Trevor's toad move across the classroom, right? Okay, so swish and flick, you're going to make your feather levitate and fly. The spell is Wingardium Leviosa. Okay, he pairs them up in teams. Harry gets paired up with Seamus. He's like, whew, because he saw Neville trying to catch his eye and he didn't want to be paired up with Neville. Although I don't know that being paired up with Seamus was too much better, because at one point Seamus got frustrated, poked the feather with his wand, and it caught on fire. So, and Harry had to put it out with his hat. So, yeah, whatever, pros and cons. But the kicker here is Ron and Hermione get teamed up together. Now, Ron is pissed. And so Hermione, being the bossy know-it-all that she is continuing to tell him. And this is one of her, iconic lines in the movie. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa, or, whichever. Anyway, so Ron tells her, well, you do it then if you know it so well, whatever. And she rolls up her sleeves. And of course, being Hermione, she does it on the first try. And then Professor Flitwick sees and is like, oh my goodness, everyone, look at Hermione Granger. She's done it, class. Oh! And so when they leave class, Ron's like super pissed.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's such a know-it-all and she's so annoying and whatever. And she bumps past them and she's crying and she goes, and Harry's like, I think she was crying. And Ron's like, well, she has to know she doesn't have any friends. Sorry, that's so Ron. But so she ends up going. I'm sorry, because their relationship right now is so hilarious to me, because they're 11 and they're a boy and a girl, and like Hermione, I think it's because Hermione's so much like Percy and has a little bit of Mrs. Weasley in her that Ron's just like, dude, no. Okay. So she runs off to the bathroom and they don't see her for the rest of the afternoon. And then when they're on their way to dinner for the Halloween feast in the Great Hall, they overhear Parvati Patil telling Lavender Brown that Hermione's in the girls' bathroom crying, has been all afternoon, and wants to be left alone. And Ron and Harry overhear this, and for a split second they feel bad, but then they see the feast and it goes out of their mind and they're just off to do their thing. So then everybody's at the Halloween feast and they're having a great time. They're in the Great Hall. And then all of a sudden, Professor Quirrell comes running in. Troll! Troll in the dungeons! And so everybody starts freaking out. And then Dumbledore silences everybody and then orders. Prefects, get your students back to their houses. And it says Percy's exactly in his element. And Percy's like, all right, follow me. First year, stick together. And if you listen to me, you won't need to worry about anything. Come on, I'm a prefect. And so they're headed back to class. Back to the dormitory. So as they're headed back to the dormitories, Harry and Ron are talking. And then all of a sudden, as they're passing people in the hallways and stuff, Harry grabs Ron and he's like, hey, what about Hermione? And Ron's like, ugh. And then he's like, all right, but Percy better not see us. So they sneak out of the group and they go down and they're headed to the girls' bathroom. And that's when first they smell it, then they hear it, and then they see the troll. As they're watching the troll opens a door, peeks inside, and goes in. There happens to be a key in the door. So they're like, oh, this is great. So they run over and they turn the key. And then they're running away to go back and join their classes. And all of a sudden they hear a petrified scream. Ah, crap. The room they just locked the troll in happens to be the girls' bathroom, where Hermione has been crying all afternoon. So now they're like, oh, crap. So they're like, well, this is our fault. We got to go fix it. And so they run over and they unlock the door and they go inside, and the troll's like closing in on Hermione and she's like frozen in fear against the wall. And so they come in and Harry throws something at the troll to get its attention, and it turns around and it sees Harry and it goes for Harry. And then, oh my goodness. Anyway, so they're fighting this troll, and Harry jumps up on the troll's back and accidentally shoves his wand up the troll's nose, and Ron pulls out his wand, and he doesn't know what to do. So the first spell that comes to mind is Wingardium Leviosa, which he does, and then the troll's club goes up in the air and then falls on the troll's head, and then the troll falls down, and boom, they have knocked out the troll. And then Harry pulls his wand out of the troll's nose, and there's troll boogers all over it. And then, So then Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape and Professor Quirrell come running in, and they look at the troll and they look at the kids, and they're like, what the hell? I mean, not like that, but I mean, right? And so Ron and Harry are like, uh-oh, we're in big trouble now. And then all of a sudden Hermione's like, hey, so like I went looking for the troll because I thought I could handle it by myself because, I read books and stuff. And then these guys came to find me because if they hadn't come, I'd be dead already. And the troll had already been almost done with me by the time they got here. So they didn't have time to go get help. And Ron and Harry are like, who the hell is this person? But trying to look like they don't not know what's being, going on or whatever. So then Professor McGonagall's like, oh, okay, well, Hermione, I'm so surprised at you. You usually follow the rules and blah, 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 blah. And she takes 5 points from Gryffindor, but then she gives Harry and Ron 5 points each. And she's like, it's not all first years who could take on a fully grown mountain troll. And so he sends Harry and Hermione back to the dorms, and they're dealing with, Harry and Ron, and they're dealing with Hermione because she is going to be in trouble now a little bit because, she went after the troll supposedly, right? But then after that, they become friends because, like, how do you take on a mountain troll together and save each other's lives and, like, not become friends?
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the chapter.
This is where the trio becomes a trio.
This is where they become friends with Hermione, which, great decision. They'll find out later on. So that's the chapter summary and new characters, which brings us to our next segment. That was the chapter summary, meaning the book.